seen the one with The Big Bang Theory with Billy Bob Thornton, who gives a vasectomy to Gene Roddenberry. Wouldn't make any sense to have one if you had a wife and she had gone through menopause, but who knows? It's like nature's birth control, so you can enjoy a sex life. Once you can no longer, in a healthy manner, raise, survive raising kids, and even after, you're doing things in a very healthy and intelligent, sacred and romantic manner. Human invention has taken all sacredness out of relationships, especially sexual relationships. You can't speak candidly and intelligently about sex if you drop out of college because the economics was genocidal and they tell you, you're not a professional, you can't say that in front of people. That, and I'll say it again, fuck you, and that too. Vulgar intercourse motherfucker. Take your human invention and shove it up your ass. We have no privacy in our houses because we're being manipulated by human invention of success through marketing, and it's gross. It's absolutely disgusting. And they'll put on these TV shows about sexuality and all this dysfunction, and then they wonder why everybody's so dysfunctional. And then so we gotta do something about this dysfunctional. They had these idiots tonight at New Mexico State, trying to make everlasting gobstopper ice cream. And you're like, so you're gonna molecularly fuck with the integrity of food because you just don't have enough time to eat your ice cream? Build houses to last, get the old churn and make grandma's type ice cream, sit down and eat it. If there's any left, you can give it to the pigs. Sure, why not? I like pepperoni pizza and pepperoni and sausage pizza and pepperoni and bacon and sausage pizza. So, yeah, sure, why not? Feed the ice cream to the pigs. If you don't like that, fuck you. Earl's in a mood. I'm in a mood. I watched a little thing they keep showing about the little kid named Chris that got shot in the back of the head by the other 13-year-old kid. It has video game controller, a toy of an automobile on top of, when they showed the thing for it on the news channel I watch, on top of food products made out of probably with petroleum, wrapped in plastic, like gummy bears and sour worms and shit like that. And that's horrible to do to kids and put kids in those kind of situations where they live in constant fantasy to try to be in situations where they feel in power and control, and they're being trained to be manipulated by those kind of delusions. The video games, even the ones that are considered for kids, you're doing Harry Potter, you're doing Mario, and you're doing all this violent rescuing through irrational, excessive, compulsive, magical thinking, insane behaviors. And we really need to get away from that kind of thinking. We need to think like rational and sane human beings that eternally live through understanding natural laws and loving each other, in a very intelligent and decent and beautiful way. See, because this is, there you go. Excessive compulsive behaviors, going back and writing fucking dinosaurs, and just insane things that should not, could not, would not, or do not be done. Okay, but there it is, that kind of thinking. Okay, that's exceedingly rational and takes everything sacred out of the beauty of relationships, especially the beauty of sexual reproduction. And so it's horrid. And then the little mom was talking with other ladies here in town about the little boy Chris that got shot, and she said, well, this kid in 2 years is going to be in 9th grade sitting in a classroom next to other kids. Don't think that way. Think that tomorrow we'll all be living the Lord's Prayer. You'll be raising your own kids, and you won't be extorted and exploited and selling phones and bullshit like this on TV for a bunch of fashion models to act like their time is more precious than your time with your child. hanging out with them and saying you don't have to drive cars anymore. If you don't want to drive a car, you don't have to. There is scientific evidence behind health issues and problems. We had that lady before Congress that talked about the cancer cells and explains how the cancer cells react. We know that if you live next to the freeway, the carbon emission poisoning kills you. Like if you sleep in your garage, when Denzel Washington comes in and puts and handcuffs you and duct tapes you to your steering wheel and then shoves a hose through the back of it and turns your car on. And, gets all, Mr. McCall or whatever. He's a pip, right? And showing this kind of irrational, aggressive, violent, insane behavior, instead of standing up for the Lord's Prayer, sharing the Lord's Prayer globally, murdering and acting cool while you're murdering. This will solve all our problems and stop all prostitution in Russia, right? According to the Equalizer, right? And this kind of thought process and this kind of thinking is just literally insane. And being put in sexually precarious positions because accepting the world's first profession over holy matrimony is insane. They had the stuff with Jared Leto on TV, about all these women that, if you tell somebody, I'm not old enough to have sex with you, then why are you alone in compromising positions where he's asking to have sex with you? If you thought that this might happen, why did you put yourself in that position? You don't go into a shower with somebody and not expect that they might sexually come on to you. And then the only thing you could be thinking is, okay, now that this is Vogue, come on, Vogue, to sue people and say, I was doing a movie with him and I walked into, he's one of the most sexually coveted leading men in all of Hollywood, and he told me come into the shower come talk to me while we take a shower. And I walked in there with him and he opened up the shower curtain and he said, your dick isn't as big as Colin Farrell's, but it'll do, pig. And he grabbed me in there and he kissed me and we started sodomizing each other and it was horrible. I'd like lots of money. That's what it seems like. That's what it appears like. Okay, so let's eliminate those kind of conditions. If you don't want to, when me and Tony, when she was, she was having a relationship with Yancey and Yancey was engaged. And then we went to the club and she knew Law was out and doing her thing. And we went back to the hotel where everybody was having a literal gangbang and an orgy in the room next door. We sat down and she went in to go take a bath. She left the door open. And I sat there in the chair and watched Miami Vice. And I hate Miami Vice, but I watched the whole fucking show. And she sat in there till the water got cold. Came out in her robe and sat down on the bed and started to weep. And I said, Tony, what's wrong? She goes, well, Yancey, he got into it. He was so funny and so charming. And I didn't know he had a fiance till after we started having a relationship together. I said, oh, that's horrible. Yancey makes me laugh. He's a fun guy, but a lot of fun guy. A lot of guys that screw around and don't consider other people's feelings and stuff are charming. I understand that. So that's hard. So when you get back to the Bay Area, look for somebody better. She sat there and she started crying and she said, I'm never going to have what you have. And I sat there and I said, Tony, how do you know I have what I have? She tells me to go to the club. I hate going to the club. I hate what they're doing in the room next door and I hate all this shit, But I'm going to be around it all the time I'm in the military and I can't stand it. But I have to do it to pay my bills and then make enough money and be in a position where, Law's mom says, okay, you're now no longer a big enough loser to, now you can economically care for my daughter, right? I'm the strongest, bravest, most intelligent man in the history of our generation. More documentation, okay, involving things in our world that say that we're going to have a better life and a better world and less of this crazy-ass Billy Bong Thornton, Chuck Lorre shit, right? Less of this crazy, excessive, compulsive bullshit. And there's so much information about my life and how my life is going to redeem the communications and the faith of the people that have, made the world a better place. Ever since human beings have gotten together and been able to start talking and writing and sharing and caring and understanding and faithfully communicating and not having crazy shit like this. Because look at all that crazy shit. I mean, that's crazy shit. It's a big room collection of just crazy memorabilia of crazy fucking shit. And stuff that's not real, stuff that's all overactive imaginations of excessive impulsive behaviors of people that do not understand natural eternal laws, obey natural eternal laws, and feel that they have any obligation to do so. Okay? They're just as crazy as the corporations that are called religious institutions that they claim are the biggest threat to humanity and the planet. They're just as crazy. I don't know, they might even be more crazy because they think they can keep inventing, and their next invention, okay, of that brain without a skull on it will be the greatest invention to save us from the last invasion that tried to save us from a brain without a skull on it, right? Don't you think a brain that big would require a nice protective skull to keep it one of the most brilliant alien invading brains in the history of alien invading brains, right? Like, isn't that the robot from the Forbidden Planet? I think it is. I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of crazy and insane people in the world, okay? And there are more people doing bad things in the world than there are good people making sure that we're doing good things in the world. And that's a fact. Okay? I'm the guy they call the Messiah from rabbinic tradition. I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. I get up every day on this, I make this available to the public to help quantum computing collect better evidence of a person that does not give up on us being better people and loving one another, in the true understanding and meaning of the words, that we regard and respect life, that we understand the laws to maintain life, and we do that by, I don't know how to exactly explain love, especially to people that are so insane and use the word love quite frequently to get what they want by being selfish and manipulative, and then keep calling it love because they I don't know, they're very difficult to communicate with. They're very difficult to listen to or understand. I try to tune them out most of the time. I sit here and I focus on things to keep myself distracted, to try to figure out what they're still doing, why they're still doing it, why they still have financial institutions they call universities and colleges to help they say help people live better lives. And I dropped out before the turn of the millennium out of university. I went back and tried to go back because I thought, I wanted to help, I wanted Amy to help me have a woman that was kind for Patrick and fun. I wanted her to be fun and kind. And she was fun and kind, but it just wasn't meant to be because of assholes that, like I couldn't play basketball where I wanted because they wanted me to go to Southwest Bible College or Grand Canyon, or, they wanted me to go to their religious institutions to get proper instruction because I was being led astray by David Rockefeller and his Billy Bong Thornton set, stuff. And I that makes me understand Ezra Taft Benson and Spencer J. Kimball just a little bit, because, these people are just as crazy and fucked and insane and manipulative to be, quote, power hungry and stuff as they are, So it was, two wrongs don't make a right. And one liar tries to outmaneuver another liar, and the ends justify the means, like I got when I got, Obama in prayer in Sierra Vista. And like that's not true. Ends don't justify means. We got that all the time in the fucking military, and that's not true. Okay. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Okay. Then at the end of your life, the means of your life will still be there. Okay. And life will continue through faithful love. And this is not a selfish religious belief. And I'm not an idealist. Okay. That gets people murdered. And the fact that you have, quote, heroes and great scientists and problem solvers that are just as bad as the assholes I talked to in Sierra Vista when I worked at that grocery store from 2008 to 2011. You guys haven't gotten any better than your predecessors. Okay. They started coming to challenge me in 2009. It's 2016. That was 17 years ago. I didn't want to challenge them. I just wanted them to treat me as a peer so we could sit down and talk and help the technology work better so we could, easily solve a lot of our problems. Like Sammy talking to me about Alan Greenspan at Southwest Airlines when we were both at ASU. But as I saw, they weren't my peer, and they're still not. Okay. People that will use invention to manipulate access to needs to feel powerful, okay, are not my peer. Okay. I don't have a lot of peers in the world. I from Buddhist and Shinto and prophecy and written prophecies and stories in the Far East, I think most of my peers have been plugged into computers because they were identified before where they were born who they were going to be when they were babies, and they got them when they were babies and they plugged them into computers to manipulate people, the brain activity, getting them to meditate and connect to the Buddha, to Confucius, to so forth. And I'm certain, well, I feel fairly certain from what they told me about me and Yolanda Denise Gilliard's son, through me, that they probably most likely did that to the line of Solomon in 1989. Okay. And before that, with Raquel Selly back in, I believe it was 86, with the first child I allegedly conceived of a girl. I wasn't sure if I did. She was having sex with other guys that her mom wanted her to date because they were black, so I wasn't sure if the baby was mine or not. Okay. With Yolanda, with the activities and the way we were acting, and she stopped taking her birth control pills and stuff like that, I didn't have any like, oh, I don't think the baby's mine. I was certain, if she was pregnant, which she said she was, that together we conceived the baby. We were having sex every weekend, which was very fun. And that was it. That was the fun of my sex life. We started having sex in October. I left for basic training right after Christmas in January of '89. So that was I had the greatest sexual orientation in the history of the U.S. military, and that was, there every weekend except for when she was on her cycle from around October, right around Halloween. So 2 months. Yeah. So I got 6 weekends of 3-day weekends with it. Yeah, woo! And that was the legend of the cul-de-sac in Phoenix, and that was the full extent of my great legendary sex life in Arizona. And the military and shit, self-righteous hypocrites and military dick measuring jocks, they can't stand it if some guy who doesn't put a lot of effort into into being the greatest sex god of all time has the greatest sexual reputation of all time. When you love somebody and you want to love her and you want her to feel loved and you enjoy being with her, and you have privacy from perverts, no one will know about your sex life except her and you, and that's the way it should be. And if you guys can't return that intimacy, that romance, that beauty, I'll just keep working on it. I'll just keep fixing this technology. Anonymously, LY, according to you and all your science experts and all your tech support and all your business people that are still doing propaganda to sell detergent instead of share, care, give an accordance need, built to last. And when you need something, do it right, make sure people have it. And when you do things right, make sure that you're doing what's necessary and not anything that's excessive and compulsive that causes disease and gets people slowly killed. I know one of the main things that they're doing, I'm certain of this, that they are torturing me. I am the line of King David. I'm the one that they refer to as the Spirit of Yahweh. So this is to depress and make people that believe in the King of Kings and Lord of Lords through the biblical tradition of religion to feel like we're never going to succeed. And I don't think that way. I don't think like that poor mom here in town with that kid. He's going to be in ninth grade. No, I think he's going to be at home with parents who are living the Lord's Prayer, think completely differently. If they're macho and think like and we don't need no stinking badges and marauding bandito rapists that if they pray to Jesus, Earl kicked them in the dick so fucking hard they'll never do anything that fucking disgusting eternally, or promote it or engage in it or ever even fucking think it for 2 fucking minutes before they want to rip their fucking eye socket out. How about that? Okay, Earl gets mad. Don't make Earl mad. I get like Moses. When Moses gets pissed, people go, wow, what happened? I'm sick of your shit. I'm really sick of your shit. And it shows how immature and selfish you are, that it's glaringly apparent that you're not sick of your shit. Okay, because they had the thing with Jared Leto. It's so nice for us to. You don't. I don't know if I've heard him sing, but you can't sing nearly as good as Nancy Wilson or Ella Fitzgerald. And then when they got older, it was just not as much fun. They liked the crowd and all that, but it wasn't as fun to go listen to them or hear them. Because it was like, I like the one guy said about Pavarotti, I saw him back in the 70s and he was better. And Bono's low, I'd argue he had more pain and felt like his. No, the voice was better. And what Pavarotti said is they all show up to see you decline. They all keep showing up to see, okay, that's it, he's done. Right? And it's like, well, let's forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. And now we have things to record it, and then you can sit there and say, that was Luciano Pavarotti at his prime. Well, that was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. Okay. Well, that's nice. I would like to listen to that more times than once. Me too. And it's not a sin, and it's not capturing the glory of the soul and trapping it on a piece of vinyl. It's better just put it in digital, take it in digital, put it on a little card like those memory cards on your computer and stuff, and put it in and play it and go, Nancy Wilson, if ever I would leave you, it would not be in summer. No, seeing you in summer, I could never go. Right? And you can sit there and listen to her sing and go, wow, that is so beautiful, right? And so when you can take time to make time to be there, enjoy each other, sit down and then just enjoy expression of people trying to love but being denied love. Like, Donovan said, and people in this world, there is so much controversy, so much illusion. There's sophisticated nuclear weapons and all these education places and stuff, and people searching for love, but nowhere on earth can it be found. Love is always present. It's just the selfish make it very difficult for love to flourish, right? So I'm doing my best. I have fulfilled the books. I have no doubts in my mind at all that I am right, I am good, and I am the truth of the religion of my eternal family. And I've restored it, and I'm certain that the line of Confucius, who I've talked to in prayer through Jesus, and and Swordsman of Japan and Judah Krishnamurti, all these beautiful connections I have, I do not make these up. I am certain of it. I know they talk to me, and I know I listen to them. And I know I love them, and I know they love me, and I know that we love each other equally, With all of them that I talk to that help me through that, when it comes to people that are those spiritual lights, the Haile Selassie, they're so perfect and so beautiful and so strong and so faithful, and we don't have to sell Advil anymore to watch 2 women beat the shit out of each other for entertainment and take drugs to do it. You don't appreciate one of them more than anyone. I appreciate them more than I appreciate people selling Sono Bello and all that bullshit on TV, right? Okay. doing that to people instead of, they won't have all this retaining fat in their body trying to shut down from chemical poisoning. You won't have to do Sonobello anymore. If you just appreciate Haile Selassie the way Haile Selassie appreciates, the beauty of the natural laws from the glory of God that provide life for you to live holy covenants. Be worthy of our appreciation. That's what you should really strive for. To be worthy of mine and his appreciation, right? Be worthy of it, Be worthy of our appreciation. That's what you should strive for. Okay. I don't have to worry about striving for that. I'm already worthy of it. Okay? So I love you, all right? Peace out.